Hello, this is Diali Cole Mercado. My presentation is going to be on agency theory and resource dependency theory. This is for Southeastern University's Organizational Leadership PhD program, and the course is Organizational Systems and Management Leaders 7423 with Dr. Emil Hawkins. Again, my name is Diali Cole Mercado, and I'm going to relate the agency theory and resource dependency theory in relation to ADP's Global Security Organization, which operates under the legal division. So you'll hear my comparisons within the presentation with ADP and the GSO. So the agenda is going to be over the agency theory, also resource dependency theory. I'm going to explain both of those. As mentioned, I will be relating ADP and the Global Security Organization, the GSO, with these theories. And then I'll explain theoretical integration, and then I'll end it with some key takeaways. So, what is organizational theory? Organizational theory helps us understand that businesses or how businesses structure themselves and behave and respond to internal and external pressures. So it offers a lens for diagnosing problems and designing solutions. The two theories that we're going to go over, or what I'm going to focus on, is the agency theory and resource dependency theory, which I will also probably state it as RDT. Now, the different perspectives with agency theory and resource dependency theory is that one is inward looking and the other is outward. So that's something to keep in mind. For agency theory, there's some key concepts, and it was originated in 76 by Jensen and Meckling. So there's a focus on principal agent relationship, with the core issue being information asymmetry and goal misalignment. And then the solutions are always the contracts and incentives. So it was developed and focused on the relationship between the principal, such as the leader or the board, and the agent, such as the manager or the department. The main concern here is the goal is misalignment and information asymmetry, where the agent may not act in the best interest of the principal unless proper incentives and monitoring are in place. For agency theory, Galbraith's contribution from 1973 was that effective organizations process information to reduce uncertainty. They emphasize that as complexity grows, so does the need for organizations to process information. So agency theory supports the use of detailed contracts, monitoring systems, and reporting lines. So especially when it's relevant to compliance-driven environments like for ADP, legal, and security. Agency theory also explains how board diversity can influence control and compliance structures. So at ADP's Global Security Organization, the legal department is the principal and the GSO security is the agent, right? So the issues are compliance, trust, autonomy. The controls is policy enforcement, surveillance, behavior, contracts. Legal expects compliance and risk management. So security operates with a degree of autonomy, and there's tools like behavior contracts, surveillance systems, audit protocols that help align the interests and reduce information gaps. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about legal and security under legal. Resource Dependency Theory, or RDT, originated in 78 by Pfeffer and Salonik, or Salensic. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. But the focus was on organizational survival in certain or uncertain environments. And the idea is that organizations are dependent on external resources. strategy is to reduce dependence and increase control, right? So in sees organizations as open systems dependent on external resources like capital, labor, technology, or information. And the core challenge is how to manage that dependency. So the more an organization can control or buffer the flows of resource, the more stable and powerful it becomes. For resource dependency theory, Singh's view was a little different. Peter Singh supported the idea through systems thinking, which shows that there is no part of an organization that operates in isolation, right? There's no silo there. Today's fast paced, ever changing world, right? The resilience comes from it being able to engage with external factors, which are the suppliers, the regulations, technologies, rather than ignoring them or over controlling them. So we have to adapt to external feedback and risks. Definitely we have to adapt to the environment, and the systems thinking aligns with um, resource critical sectors. And that's something that was explored by Osoro in 2025. Resource dependency theory with ADP's global security organization, security depends on the external data. So we have to get the information from threat intelligence, where we use vendors for that, and other vendor tools, which is like our surveillance systems, right? We have to manage the partnerships and compliance expectations. So these dependencies are vulnerabilities, but we build the relationships with trusted vendors, diversifying suppliers. So I don't want to use the same suppliers for everything all the time. I want to be able to diversify them so that actually provides some type of management and security on our end. And then we also participate in regulatory alliances, and that reduces risk. This is a visual that I'm going to go over. I just made the chart real quick and added it on here. This is the theories at a glance. So there's the focus, the core issue, the tools, the leadership role, and then the example for ADP. So for focus on agency theory, there's the principal agent relationship. For resource dependency theory, it's an external resource acquisition. The core issue for agency theory is goal misalignment, info asymmetry. For RDT, it's dependence on the environment. Some of the tools that are put in place for agency theory are contracts, monitoring, and also incentives. For RDT, you have alliances and boundary spanning. And leadership role, or the leadership role for agency theory, is control and compliance, which I'm sure all of you have heard of, but there's control and compliance in the leadership role. And for resource dependency theory, there's adaptability and negotiation. So one is pretty black and white, and the other one, there's like the gray, so you can move around a little bit. The example with ADP that I'm using is that the security team follows legal direction through compliance protocols and internal reporting, and that's constantly happening on a daily basis, if not like hourly basis, for security and legal. For resource dependency theory, security team relies on the vendor threat intelligence to anticipate and mitigate external risks, meaning we're getting information by the vendor. So we have an intelligence vendor that's given us threat analysis on a regular basis. And we're taking that information and we're going to mitigate the risk by putting things in place so that we don't have things happen. So we're preparing people, preparing maybe our clients as well, and making sure that everyone's ready for something that's going to happen, or preparing or putting things in place by being proactive and making sure that things do not happen in the first place. Leadership application, we want to recognize both the internal and external control mechanisms, right? We use the contracts wisely, but build environmental agility. It's important to use resource dependency theory strategy to adapt to the changing external realities, because it's just happening every day. You see it every day, you hear about it every day, or you read about it every day, and we learn about it regularly, especially in this program. But all of these things foster transparency and collaboration and interdepartmental feedback and loops. So the key takeaways: agency theory helps leaders structure internal relationships, while resource dependency theory shows the importance of managing external dependencies. So both are essential, right? And they're very critical and important in fields like global security, where compliance, risk, and responsiveness are mission critical. So both help explain the challenges in legal and security context at ADP. So there's the design for alignment, the strategy for resilience. These are my references. I'll leave that there for a couple seconds. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for listening or viewing my presentation. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at my SEU email, which is decolemercado at seu.edu, or you can give me a call at 321-228-8024. Thank you so much.